I'll start with the poem. As she journeys through the torrid field, so I'm a really young child here, golden grasses comb her hair. Summer breeze bestows a kiss, buzzing lyrics in a jar, opus festival of song. She tarries at the Kennejevis riverbank, abiding waves profess allegiance, her father's safe return, blue horizons smiling back at her. As dancing clouds of smoke appear, the sound of slowing, shifting gears echo forth. Giant steps resonate along the bow. Murky water filled with lily pads begin to sway. As the smell of motor oil and chips of bark fill the air, swaying hands uncoil the ropes of time. Anchored hearts, spring fast.
Born hotelier Elmer Kiefer, who worked for Hotel Vancouver, which was at that time operated by Hilton International. Elmer was considered to be a shrewd and talented hotelman who learned the trade as a young man in his family hotel business in Bavaria. He upgraded his skills at one of the best hotels in Switzerland, the Beau Rivage. The world hospitality became not only his vocation, but his heart calling. All his dreams, passion, and energy he totally and unconditionally devoted to the hotel business. As the years went by, he had established for himself the reputation as a big money maker. And money is what matters to any corporation. His professionalism and abilities were held in the highest esteem in the Hilton International, and his name was known abroad as well. Elmer was tall and robust, but one day my life turned upside down. In 1984, my son and I visited my family in Poland, as we always did during the summer. Upon our return to Banff, I discovered that my husband of 14 years had bankrupted our hotel business, sold our matrimonial home, emptied our bank accounts, and run off with my 22-year-old niece, Irena. She was the same girl whom I had sponsored to come to Canada a few years earlier, had taken into our home and treated like a daughter. She must have been sampling my husband's virility behind my back at least for some time, before she had decided at the age of 22 to take it all. In a speck of a moment, I found myself husbandless, penniless, homeless, and a single mother of a 6-year-old boy. Still, I didn't panic. I left the Rocky Mountain region and went east to Montreal. I felt a strong affinity with Montreal, mainly because Montreal was my first home in Canada and because it was a beautiful city. I believed that if I was going to make of my own, it would be in Montreal. Okay, I will end this part. One of the city which was near Scienceworth, kind of Creekside Park tent city. It was nickname. Okay, that was my tent city. That's where I live. Okay, no. At this time, in early October 2003, the whole world knew that the city of Vancouver had been awarded the 2010 Winter Olympic Games. While the mayor and the premier gloried in the triumph, we, the poor of British Columbia, had little food, no clothing, and no housing. We live in tent cities, we slept in parks, and to obtain the basic necessity of life, we were forced to go binning. I had never dug into garbage containers before, but one day, as Rusty and Mike were set to go out, they agreed to take me along. We left the camp about 11 p.m. We slipped through the dark roads like alley cats, only the rattling of the shopping carts reverberating in the quietness of the night. We approached every dumpster. Mike, with his flashlight, settled himself nearby. Before we began our operation, he turned to me and gave me the basic rule of safe binning. Look first, he said, always with the light to avoid sharp objects or needles. Be quiet, be tidy. We looked inside the dumpster and examined every item carefully, loading the selected pieces into carts. That night we were lucky. We managed to find a TV, a couple of blankets, a hairdryer, a lamp, an air-conditioned unit, and many knickknacks. Joyfully from his office, When instead of Swanee I enter, he nearly jumped out of his chair. "You? What are you doing here?" he roared. I paid no attention. I told him I wanted the child support and half of the share of our matrimonial home, which he had sold. He flatly refused. "I won't give you any money today or ever," he snapped at me. "What about your son?" I asked. "When you see him suffering, you will suffer," he replied. At that remark, I realized what a complete bastard my husband was, and I was so appalled I couldn't answer. I just stared at him with a numb expression on my face. When I finally recovered enough to speak, I told him I would find him in the court. "You are too poor to get legal representation," he said. Then he laughed. I slammed the door and went out. Thank you.